Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights? Oh, so proudly we can. That's all I know, but you know.
I'm curious, why the American one?
You know what? I think we should join the 50.
Say, hang on, bring the mic closer.
I think we should join the 51st state. I don't see what is wrong with it. I don't see why everybody's tripping about we shouldn't join the Americans. I think everything about it is like.
What are you? 24 years old?
Yes, sir.
You're born here?
Yes, sir.
What's your background?
I am Assyrian.
Okay.
You ever heard of Assyrians?
Yeah, of course.
We're like the Aboriginal people of Iraq, you know?
Yeah.
Indigenous.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. When did your family move here?
20 years ago.
Okay.
24 years ago, probably, yeah. When I was born.
All right, so I just wanted to introduce you, Matthew David's here, right? So you're with the union, IBEW, right?
Yes.
Electrician.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Sparky.
Yeah.
You love it?
I love what I do, man. I can't complain. I mean, what we do is it's good work. I can't, like compared to other trades, I mean.
Yeah, but you reached out to me because we got a few things to talk about.
Yes.
About the construction industry.
Of course, yes.
Not necessarily directly about the union, but just about the industry.
I just don't see enough younger guys around, and
stay close. We're gonna get into that. Let me just do a quick shout out to the only three letters in construction that I respect is DGR, not DEI. So I'm wearing his hoodie today, and it's loud. It's loud, but it doesn't matter if it's loud. It's a safety high vis sweat, so it's all good. But all right, so you want to talk about the younger generation and why they're not coming into construction?
Amen.
What's the reason why you got into construction?
The reason is, honestly, I grew up, I would say, in a disadvantaged area. So I wasn't given all the benefits that, an average person would have. So I saw the construction industry as like an escape from that.
Anybody else in the family is in construction?
I have a couple relatives that are in electrical, but I don't. Like my pops does auto glass repair.
Okay.
And his business was picking up for a little bit, but
you're the first one to get into doing a trade.
Yeah.
In your family, your immediate family, right?
Exactly.
So what was the reason why you chose it? Like you've been in what for 5 years now?
Yes.
So 24. So at 19 years old, what were the options on the table? Your friends, your circle of friends, and everybody. What were their options there?
Everybody was going to university.
Studying what? Majoring what?
Can't even remember.
Like
I just remember Waterloo had all the parties, and we used to go to Waterloo and York and just party all the time. But I didn't experience the college life.
If you party with a purpose, then I understand it. If you party just to waste time, then I don't understand it.
Yep.
Right?
You're right.
But so everybody was going there for partying, which is fine.
Exactly.
Enjoy the parties.
Yeah.
Today's day and age with social media, you got to be careful because everything's documented, I guess. Not back in my day. You'd have to get a Polaroid. And even then, you can get a match to it and destroy the evidence, right?
Terrible.
So everyone was partying. Nobody was getting into construction. You're the only one that chose construction.
You know what? Me and my cousin actually started, he's a little bit older than me. He started in electrical for a little bit. And then he was explaining to me like, yeah, this is what I'm making. And it was minimum wage at the time. I didn't think, much of it. And then I seen this guy pull up one day in a Benz. I'm like, okay, this guy worked for that.
Brand new Benz or used Benz?
No, a C43. It was a really nice car. And
he's driving around with an AMG?
Yeah, and I think he just like financed it. But I was like, okay, he got that from working in the trades. I'm like, okay, maybe it's like something profitable I could get into, and then the more you get into it, it's like it's an average lifestyle, I would say, but you don't live that millionaire lifestyle until like I would say you open up your own business. But you will live a good life in the union, live an average life. But like if you want to go above and beyond, I would say like you want to go on your own, right? So
here's a question for you, Matthew: because you're still young and you're not married or anything like that. No kids or anything like that?
No.
When you're dating and you tell women that you're an electrician, exactly, what's the response?
You know what? So my experience, I noticed that a lot of women actually like it. They like a guy that works with his hands.
Okay.
And it's just compared to these squares that work at, office jobs. I mean, like, a girl wants, somebody that can
fix things.
Fix things, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was dating this one girl, and she loved the fact that I would always come by and her pops would tell me, okay, this GFI is not working or something. I would just, push the little button and, it's the extra points in the book,
I'll tell you a funny story. In the early days of my content creation with social media and shit like that, I brought on a camera crew and production crew that didn't know anything about construction. And I did that on purpose because I didn't want people who knew everything about construction and how to photograph it or how to videotape it, right? I didn't want that. I wanted someone who could tell a story because construction is still a story. Yes. So it doesn't matter if it's on a construction site or if it's in an office environment, it's still telling a story. That was the reason why I chose a crew that didn't know anything about construction. But what was really funny is that when I was talking and sharing and going through the job site, they were paying attention to all the knowledge that was being shared, and then they started taking that knowledge to their girlfriends and going home, and they're like, well, I just learned this today through Manny because this is how it's done. So they started looking like rock stars to their girlfriends, even though they didn't know anything about construction. But they would come back and go, Manny, when you're doing this, how do you fix this and how do you finish this? So obviously there was a follow-up question coming from the girlfriend, right? And I thought that was funny, but you're right. I agree with you on that. But I had a lot of guys your age 10 years ago telling me that when they started dating, they're on Tinder and everybody, and then all of a sudden they start telling them what they do for a living, they were dismissed. They weren't a part of the pool that the women were looking for.
Yeah. You know what? It's like back in the day, it was looked down upon, but I feel like in today's time, it's a respected field.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of money to be made. I mean, I know a lot of electricians in mansions right now, pool in the backyard, living a good life. I mean, like, what more do you need, right?
Where do you work? Mostly high rise?
Yeah, right now I specialized in commercial. I love doing commercial, but the company I was working for, commercial sold down during COVID, and they shut down the COVID department. Everybody got laid off, and then I picked up high rise. Everybody that was in commercial went to high rise.
Is it true that a lot of the union members are at home? It's slow.
Yes.
It's slow.
Right now, there was a lot of guys on the list, man. It's like
more than half.
The last time I was on the list, I saw the journeyman list was at 800, and 800 guys sitting. It was like
on the list.
Insane. Yeah, I was shocked. And then the apprentice was like way less. It was like around 300 or 200, but it moves quick.
You've been missing days, or you've been steady?
I've been steady. Honestly, the longest I was sitting out for was 2 months as an apprentice, but I know a lot of licensed guys that were sitting for like, a year. But I mean, I have a couple guys that actually went non-union.
Why? Because they were just sitting at home for too long?
Yeah, exactly.
And then what do the unions say about that?
What can they say?
They can't say anything.
What can they, like, they're not supplying work, so you have to get work.
So like right now the union is not even taking on anybody. Like they're not looking for new members because they can't do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, 2-3 years ago, how I got in is I was working non-union, and the company I was working for was like, they would pay guys first year, second year, like they were paying guys amazing. I started at $24 an hour. You don't find that anywhere for a first year apprentice.
5 years ago or 4 years ago?
Come on, you start at like $7. So for my first year to get $24 an hour, and it was like an insane job site. I was so surprised that this site was in Canada, because it was like, I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about this, but it was a really big...
well, just don't mention names.
Yeah, it was a really big company, and they built engines, and we were wiring hydrogen engines for like hydrogen cars, and Yeah, that they're saying that that's the future after batteries.
After EV's dead and buried.
Yeah, after EV.
Because I honestly believe EV is going to be dead and buried.
Yeah, that shit is a bunch of mumbo jumbo. It costs more energy in Africa to dig the batteries.
The whole carbon print. I know. We all know that. We understand that. Hydrogen makes sense to me. When I looked at hydrogen 20 years ago, I was like, this is what the future should be.
But what I don't understand about hydrogen is the water. Like in Canada, if those streets are all going to be like water everywhere.
So you got drains for, you got everything. Right. Who cares like that? But if you're in the city of Toronto, don't worry. The puppet chow should just tax you that. It'd be a hydrogen tax at that point. That's all it is, right? This all our levels of government only know how to tax and not how to reduce, right? So that's
I have a question for you.
What's that?
You looked at me funny when I sang the national anthem.
No.
What do you think about Canada joining the U.S.?
I don't think we need to go there. I think we should focus our energy. There's no reason to have a conversation about whether or not we're going to be the 51st state.
Yeah.
That's just a waste of breath, in my opinion, right? We should be looking at making Canada self-sufficient. The same way America right now is making them self-sufficient. Yeah. I think right now, the pandemic and everything that's happened in the last 5 years should have taught all the countries to be self-sufficient, period.
Yeah.
Take care of its own as you would a family. That's it. Take care of that first. Plane going down, you take care of your air first, and then you take care of your loved ones around you and put the air on them, right? But you have to take care of your own backyard first. This whole 51st thing, it's a waste of time on our Canadian political landscape because all those puppets are now wasting time talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it makes no sense. It's never going to happen. We've tried for how long now? I don't know how familiar you are with, like Quebec's wanted to separate from Canada for the longest time, but they want to separate without having any debt. Well, every country would love to have that, but that's not how it works, right? So if you guys want to separate and be your own country, then go ahead and do it, but then take your fair share of debt too, right? It's not going to happen. It will never happen in our lifetime or any lifetime. All they're trying to do is just waste time right now. We should be focusing on what does Canada have where we can make money. And right now, Canada can make a lot of money on oil and gas.
Amen. I don't see why they would shut down all those oil projects.
On the basis of a lie, of corruption, pure lies. You have to look into Brookfield. You have to look into how corrupt Carney is. You have to look into how Freeland is corrupt and stupid. And you have to look at the mess that Trudeau's created and also jack off Singh. You have to look into all that bullshit. And that it's a performance, man. It's almost like the Friends show. It's just like, this is ridiculous what's going on.
Do you plan on staying in Canada for the rest of your life?
My plan was never to stay in the rest of my life. No way. But now that this is all unfolded, it's anybody who thinks it's going to get better.
That's what I mean.
You're mistaken.
It's going to take a very long time for Canada.
Doesn't it hurt your paycheck when you see what you don't get?
Oh my gosh, man.
So you worked it. You worked those hours. It's not like you were dragging your feet, not doing anything on the job site. You worked those hours. And then you've got somebody. What's the difference between our government right now and the mafia back in the 60s and 70s and 80s knocking on people's businesses going, you need to pay up for protection?
You know, when I was a kid growing up, my pops used to always tell me, everything in this country is... He didn't... I mean, it sounds bad when you say it, but, everything in this country is mafia. At the end of the day, you see these roads fucking... takes 20 years for these projects when it should take 2 years. You see in China, they're building fucking hospitals in 2 seconds. It's all a bunch of fucking...
But it's not just one person, though. And then when you get someone who wants to get into politics, then they become corrupt too because of the advantages of what's being offered to them. So either they agree to it or they get pushed out of it. And that's what happened with Toronto, with Tory being pushed out and the puppet chow came in. Yeah. You have to look at, it's really simple, man. Anybody that looks at anything that happens, you have to look at how and why. Right? Recently, the helicopter and the plane thing that happened in the U.S. Mm-hmm. Today's technology. You got a Black Hawk that's got what kind of technology in there? and it couldn't see the plane, and nobody on the media is asking who was on the plane. We'll find out later on who was on the plane.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even.
There's
think
been
about
movies
that.
been made, man, where they'll take out a whole plane just to take out one person.
And then what's happening with California? You know what? There's a lot. There's a
That's all
lot.
targeted stuff,
like,
man. I'm waiting for fires to happen in Toronto.
Governments are just things you just can't trust. You can't trust it.
Never have, never will.
Exactly. And
when it comes to spray foam and blown-in installation for your next project, there's no better team than Mohammed and his crew at Foamit. With well-educated, skilled installers, Foamit doesn't just get the job done, they do it right. They take the time to properly estimate and educate you on every aspect of your project, ensuring your building envelope is airtight and energy efficient. As leaders in the industry, they bring a deep understanding of building science to every job, making sure your project stands the test of time. But don't just take their word for it. Past clients constantly praise the quality of work and professionalism of the Foamit team. From homeowners to large-scale contractors, feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, with clients appreciating their attention to detail, the thoroughness of their crew, and the results that speak for themselves. At Foamit, they pride themselves on building lasting relationships through exceptional service, reliability, and the commitment to exceeding expectations on every single project. Whether you're insulating a new build, upgrading an older property, or tackling a commercial project, Foamit is your trusted partner in achieving energy efficiency and comfort. They understand the importance of getting it right the first time, and that's why so many clients return to them for future projects. Connect with Foamit today. Reach them at 416-893-8712 or 647-961-9777. Email them at mohammed@foamit.ca or visit them at www.foamit.ca. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn to see their latest projects and innovations. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life.
back to my question: you plan on staying here the rest?
No.
of No, you don't.
Because I don't like what Toronto specifically has become. I don't like it. I remember Toronto as being an inspiring city. I remember Toronto being an inviting city. It is not. Toronto right now is a hole of corruption.
Amen.
Pure corruption. And wherever you drive in the city, you see the corruption right in front of your eyes. They're all doing it right in front of your eyes. You're on the lakeshore, you see Ontario Place and what's going on there. You get to the north, you see the Ontario Science Center and what's going on there. You just see everything that's going on, and you can only imagine what the deals are. Anybody who wants to speak out disappears.
For the people that plan on living here for the rest of their life, what do you think their best option is?
Move away from the core
And
try to find as much land as you possibly can, and somehow try to profit from that land without government interference. And when I say that, grow your own shit on that land and sell it in those communities.
yeah.
Think about it. So if you're losing whatever, let's just argument's sake, you make $1,000, you lose 500. When you add up all this shit, and then you go and buy your gas and you buy your groceries and all the tax, and we're a nation of 41 million people. 2023, it was 39 million people, and this nation paid out almost $500 billion in taxes. When you factor in all the taxes that we pay to do anything. Right? That's a lot of money for 39 million people at the time. So I don't even know what the tax collection was in 2024. And it's only going up. So Carney is talking about getting rid of the carbon tax, but he's masking it into another tax.
With another fucking
It's just marketing. So I got to ask you, so at some point, like my generation, my parents came here in the 70s, and they could buy a house for $50,000-$60,000. They could buy a car for $5,000-$6,000, and then you can work a job and then make maybe $15,000 a year and pay off that house, pay off that car. You can't do that today.
Oh man, it's impossible.
What kind of job do you need for you to buy a house today? You need a minimum, you yourself, $250K gross revenue is what you need.
The only people I see buying houses are like doctors or lawyers, or or people, business owners.
So basically what you're saying, like what we're trying to explain here, is that you will not be able to own a house.
Yeah. That's their plan though. They want you to own nothing and be happy. They want us to eat the crickets. They want us to...
I know, but that's not going to happen, right?
I think the best option for people that plan on living in Canada for the rest of their lives, I think, is just to join the Americans. They think about it. It's like,
so basically you're saying you're leaving.
Yes. It wouldn't be leaving. You'd be staying put, but you'd get cut your taxes. And then the healthcare system, come on, like that's a joke.
We don't have a healthcare system. It's a joke,
that's a joke in itself.
First of all, you don't create a healthcare system. You don't create so-called free healthcare. What you do is you educate the people to be healthy.
Amen. And it's not like we're not paying for that healthcare, man.
No, we are.
We're paying more than the Americans are paying. But I'm telling you, like, I think Canada would prosper and be a million times better if we were just to simply just join the Americans. And you know what I don't understand about the border situation, about the tax, what they're doing today?
The tariffs, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they just simply secure the border?
We still have to sell goods. They have to still buy goods, vice versa, too.
But to secure the border from fentanyl crossing back and forth.
Well, okay, all right. So if you want to get into the drug kind of stuff, first of all, you got Selena Gomez crying on fucking line and everyone just attacking her, right?
Yeah.
Because of all the mass deportation that's going on.
Yeah.
The fentanyl problem could be taken care of tomorrow.
Exactly.
You just start enforcing laws, period. You don't make it easy for people to sell and take it. That's how you solve the fentanyl problem, right? Mm-hmm. It's being done by purpose. Like that's just, they don't care about the people. So the moment that more Canadians realize the government doesn't care about me, so then I'm not going to care about them. That's it. If you're in construction, that's why I told, like last year, I was like, start doing more cash jobs, man. Simple as that.
Honestly, that's the way to go. Fuck, just everything under the table. But I mean, like,
it's the best way to do it.
That's how you get Mr. Sam at your door. And then they fucking garnish wages.
Then start putting your money elsewhere. Start doing what the wealthy are doing. Start doing a bunch of stuff what the corrupt are doing. Start doing a bunch of stuff like that, man. So like becoming part of America is not the solution. Yeah. We need to fix our own backyard. Don't worry. We need to fix our own backyard first, right? But it goes back to the question about why are the younger trades not getting into construction? They think they can make money elsewhere?
Yeah, that, and it's a lot of these schools, man, like, fuck, they're charging, these schools are charging $10,000.
What do you mean, the pre-apprentice schools?
The pre-apprentice schools.
Those schools are all, it's just, they're no different than the corrupt politicians.
Exactly.
STC and all kinds of other pre-apprentice schools that are charging this money and teaching you fuck all.
Exactly.
Right?
Fuck
and
all.
then when they get into the workforce and then the person shows this certificate, so-called, that they got that has no value, right? Then they realize at that point, I just wasted my time. But they're no different than predators, because what they're doing is they're going after kids in their late teens, early 20s, and they're going after their parents going, listen, it costs $12,000, it costs $14,000, it's 3 months. You have a pre-apprentice program, you'll get a job in the industry right away. It's all fucking lies. The only thing that's truthful is that the money will disappear. It will go in the pocket of the person running the school.
Exactly. And you know what? I have a cousin that is a barber, and his dad owns his barber shop, and I'm like, bro, just stay to being a barber. One day you go own your pop's barber shop. Like, it's a good field to be in. And he's like, no, I want to be an electrician. I saw these videos online, and
Which videos? What kind of videos?
I don't know, like these electrician videos, and people, you know, like some people in the States, they'll be like,
just pull it with you, man. Just get
these people in the States, they have like not even in the States, even in Canada, like they have videos of them doing electrical work, and kids get inspired, like, oh, I could do something like that. And my cousin, he'd see these videos and he got inspired, and he saw that I was an electrician and, you know, making some dough. And so I'm like, okay, if you want to be an electrician, go out with this guy. I have a buddy. I called him, I'm like, hey, take this guy out and then show him the ropes, you know? He went on his first day, just destroyed his thumb. Like,
with what?
Actually, like, he was picking up a brick. And just destroyed his thumb.
Hang on 1 second. Why is an electrician picking up a brick?
They were doing underground cable.
Okay.
Cable trays, and they had to pick up the cable tray was under these heavy bricks, he was telling me.
Okay.
And then he was picking it up, and as he picked it up, first 5 minutes of his shift, fucking his thumb's destroyed, you know? And the guy calls me, he's like, bro, first 5 minutes of his shift, this guy's fucking crying, you know, whatever.
So he picked it up in the slab or whatever, or some brick.
Yeah, and he just destroyed his thumb. So that, his first day didn't go so well. So he's like, okay, you know what? I want to learn the ropes through STC. And he went and did the STC program. And I'm like, bro, you don't got to spend $13,000. I'm telling you. You just
He already signed up?
Yes.
He already signed up?
Yes. He paid for, he signed up and everything. I'm like, bro, all you need is these certificates working at heights. Just be on the jobs, able to get on that job site, and you're good. They'll teach you everything else. You know?
Did he do the whole course?
Yeah, he did.
Did it get him a job?
No. And he
did he go and complain back to the school and say, listen, you guys said I was going to get a job and I spent all this money?
That's what I mean. Like,
did he ask that?
I
just walked away from it.
Yeah, he just walked away from it.
How many kids were in the classroom there?
I don't know.
Is he still doing electrician?
No, he's a barber. He went back to being a barber.
With a missing thumb?
With the
How does he hold the
missing.
scissors?
No, it's not a missing thumb. Like, hey, healed.
Well, if he's got a scarred thumb, it's going to be harder to get it to the loop in the scissor, right?
Yeah.
He's going to have to get a custom scissor. Now, I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying that he's got to factor in. But, okay, that's a clear-cut example of
how that school system failed him.
Well, yeah, and he didn't speak to the right, like he should have spoken to more people to figure out the best course of action.
Another thing is when I got out of high school, I looked at Humber's pre-apprenticeships programs and whatever, and I actually signed up for it.
Okay.
I signed up for a pre-apprenticeship program, and I was like 18 at the time too. And I guess I registered for the course incorrectly, and they gave me 4 of the courses out of 6. So I was missing 2 of the courses, and I didn't realize until like a month later, and because like I needed those courses to pass these courses.
Okay.
It all intertwined, you know? So I'm like, wait, I don't understand this. The teacher's like, oh, why don't you he should have taught you that. And I'm like, I'm not even in that class, you know? And then I go back to the principal and, hey, why aren't I in these classes? He's like, oh, you missed the registration, this and that. There's nothing we can do. So I was just shit out of luck that year.
So you didn't start school there?
Yeah, I didn't start school there. I joined the electrical field by just going out there and working for an employer.
How was your first day?
It was actually really good, honestly. It was really good.
Let me know.
I didn't complain. My first day, so I showed up to that 24-hour job, $1 an hour job, and you know what? Actually, I worked at a different company before that 24-hour job. It was a different company, and my first day at that company, I don't want to say the company's name.
Don't mention the names, man.
The guy came to me on the first day. He's like, there was a guy just like you, your age, a couple months ago that died in this company. So I'm taking a big risk by hiring you, you know? And he was telling me about the story about how a kid, he was an eager beaver. He wanted to impress all the journeymen and, you know, and they told this kid to just wait in the truck while he talks to the site super or the manager, because it was just service calls for condos, you know. So this kid, he knew what the job was that day. He was just putting up exit signs, and he wanted to get a head start. So while the journeyman went away, he's talking to the site super, this kid goes, starts installing the exit sign by himself, and he gets shocked, like it was live. He gets shocked, and he didn't die from the shock. He dies from falling back off his ladder and banging his head, you know? It's just like, so I joined that company. I was like, fuck.
And he was 24? How old was he?
He was my age. He was like 18 at the time, 19, yeah. And then I remember they were telling me like, oh, yeah, the everyone from the police to fucking
MOL
Ministry of Labor, everybody was investigating that company. So he's like, I'm taking a very big risk by hiring you. So he's like,
what
you
was
better.
the outcome of the investigation? I guess it would have been the employee's fault.
I wasn't too sure about that. I wasn't too sure. I left that company before I even found out.
So then he still hired you on?
Yeah, he took me on, and
but he gave you the warning that someone just
like,
recently passed.
Yeah. And I remember, you know what was funny? It was my first day. I had a good day. It was normal. You know, the second day, I was working with a different guy from the first day, because it was just like you go out with a journeyman, and then just whatever he needs, you help him out. You know. So I was working with a different guy on that second day, and he sends me, he's like, just go cut that wire over there. And it was a fucking pretty thick wire. I don't even remember at the time what volts or amps it was and what we were doing at the time, but we were doing like these poles. So I can imagine it was fucking pretty high voltage. So he tells me, go cut it. And I got to do something. I'll be right back. So I go, and I'm like, before I cut this thing, I should probably test it, you know? Yeah, I fucking test it, and it's fucking live. So imagine if I did not test it and I was the other kid, I would probably would have.
So why didn't he tell you that it was a live wire?
He just didn't tell me. It was probably negligence, you know? So I went home that day. It's like, yo, fuck, I don't even want to work at this shady company. Like, they're not taking things seriously. Like,
I thought all electricians test wires before they...
Not everybody.
But you guys always walk around with a tester, man.
Me personally, yeah.
Are you not supposed to all the time?
Nah.
I've always seen electricians always test everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, it happens, yeah, but not a lot of guys test.
Attention homeowners and businesses. Are you looking for top-notch electrical contracting services you can trust? Consider the expert tradesperson behind Effect Electric Ltd. They take pride in delivering quality, service, and professional installation on time and on budget. From Kohler generators to main service upgrades or network data installation, they do it all. With years of experience and a commitment to excellence, Carlo and his team at Effect Electric Ltd. are your go-to professionals for all your electrical and generator needs. Effect Electric Ltd. is an authorized Kohler home energy generator dealer. Kohler has air-cooled 26 RCA units, the quietest, the most powerful, and exceptionally durable generator with 109 amps max power on liquid propane. Custom color options, camouflage options, and every generator Kohler makes is built to last and is equipped with a commercial-grade engine. Call Effect Electric Ltd. today at 416-508-7725 or visit them at effectelectricltd.kohlergeneratordealer.com. Let's build something great together. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. So at that point, were you union yet? No.
No, I was non-union.
So how much longer before you got into union then after that?
I got into the union by joining that company with my cousin, where we started at $24 an hour, and then that company we flipped it.
So you guys were non-union, then became union?
No, that company, the owner was a little bit shady.
Every single culture and every single construction job or business has shadiness in it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Okay, there's Portuguese shadiness. There's
exactly.
Italian shadiness.
I wasn't trying to.
I know. I want everybody to know that there's shadiness everywhere. That's
Amen.
it.
Amen. Yeah. Just an idea of what the guy looked like. Yeah. So
good food.
Amen. You know, good country, and
Latinos. That's a different story.
Oh, though you could get me in trouble, man. I remember
you switched it. Sorry, you were saying I interrupted. You switched that company.
Yeah, so okay. I remember the journeyman. I would ask around. So like the journeyman were, how much you getting? And he said, one guy was telling me $30 an hour, and I'm like, you've been here for 6 years? That's crazy. You're only getting 30, and he's licensed. I'm like, you could leave this company, get 40. He's like, what? And these guys didn't know that. I'm like, wow. So I started asking around. Everybody's getting different wages. This guy's getting 46 and this guy's getting 30, and like they're both licensed. I'm like, fuck, okay, there's favoritism here, So I was trying to join the union because I knew that the union would get paid way more. So I would contact the union. They would apply, the post job postings all over Indeed, and I would apply to them. And then they called me one day. They're like, oh, you work at this company? I seen the truck outside this factory. We want to know how much guys you guys have and this and that. They wanted to get an idea how big the company was so that they can flip it, you know? And then I let him know. And then I talked to everybody before I told the guy to come on site. So I talked to everyone. I'm like, hey, listen, the union guy wants to come. Like, these are the wages, and this is how much we'd be getting if you flip the company, if you sign this. You know, I just talked to everybody and let everybody know, like, you know, you could get way better wages if you just, you know. And so I remember I got majority of the company to sign, and after the union guy comes in, our super, they're fighting on site. I remember they were yelling at each other, going back and forth. He said, get the fuck off the site. Okay, leaves. That night, the super calls me, and he's like, yeah, you're fired. We suspect that you brought the union, and they weren't allowed to do that. And I wish I got that on video so I could have done something about it, but I didn't, you know? So whatever, I took it. I got fired the next day. The guy in the union is like, don't worry, I got your back. You're gonna have a job the next day. So we went to the hall, and then it's like, yeah, this guy, he got fired for trying to flip his company. He's like, okay, you're going to this job, so you're seeing this guy, just call him and show up tomorrow. I'm like, okay. And he takes a picture of me. He's like, fired, and he put all these emojis, and he's like, fired, scared emojis. He's like, nope, got a job the next day. And he sent it to all the guys at that company that are still scared. Oh, I don't know if I should sign. And then they're all like, okay, and we know now that if we get fired, we're good. Like, we'll get a job. So yeah, more people started signing, and then he ended up, the company was flipped. Like, I remember the union guy was telling me, oh, we're going to get $400,000 for garnished wages for you guys. And then,
that's not true.
That was $400,000 to give you guys, back pay for, like, they're supposed to pay you guys union rate at this point or something. Like, I remember it was
but
whatever. This story is a little chopped up. I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, it was like, I remember the number was $400,000, and then for everybody was trying to get back paid for their union pay, and then he wasn't paying overtime either. So
here's a question for you. When they came in and proposed switching it over to union, you said there was a bunch of guys that had different wages. What was the lowest wage and what was the highest wage before all this union shit happened?
There was a guy that was getting $40 an hour, and then there was a guy that was getting $30 an hour.
So the highest was 40, lowest was 30?
Exactly.
And what was the rate that the union was coming in with?
50.
So you were going to get 50?
Yeah, the journeymen were going to get 50.
Okay, but out of that 50, how much money are you really making? Because you got to take from that 50 to pay for your union dues.
50 is what you're getting per hour, and then the package is like 100 something. I know the journeyman.
But there's deductions, union deductions. There's all kinds of deductions.
That is separate. You just pay that. I think every 4 months, and it's $160.
Okay. Where I'm trying to go at with is, like, everybody could be talking about an hourly wage, but it's not. That's not the true hourly rate.
Yeah. But you know what? In unions, overall, it's just way better. You know, like,
is there anything negative about a union?
I mean, there's negatives about everything. But you gotta
outweigh. Making unions sound positive, more positive than negative. In my perspective of a union is more negative than positive.
I mean, in my opinion, the union has done a lot of good for me. In terms of, and plus, compared to the non-union wages, like, they're getting fuck all compared to us, except for like one or two bigger companies. But the total package in terms of like pension and benefits, it doesn't even.
How many years you have to work in the union to get your pension?
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure.
I'm just curious about it, right? So
I know that you can retire at 60 now.
But if you're an entrepreneur and you're running your own business, electrical, whatever, you got your own business, you can retire tomorrow if you wanted to retire.
Exactly. I'm not a guy that's saying, "Oh, go join the union and forget about starting your own company." No, bro. The money's the only way to get ahead is to have your own business in this country. But if you're starting out and you're going through your apprenticeship, the union's amazing to get your license. Fuck, I mean,
yeah, I've heard a lot of positive things about that, right?
Yeah,
it's when you start climbing up the ladder, and then I have a problem with when the economy turns and you got a lot of members staying at home not working. What's the purpose of the union at that point, right? You're supposed to be defending us, but the problem is that the union is directly attached to political. So what's going on politically speaking is motivating union. So Canada's not doing well right now, financially speaking.
I understand.
So that's why there's a lot of union members at home. Not just electrical. There's drywall. There's other union members that are at home right now.
Yeah.
Right? Because the work is not starting. And the work is not starting because our government is taking too much of the pie to start these projects. So builders are still builders. People build to make money. If they're not making money, they're not going to start a project, which means the union force, whether it's union or non-union, is not working. So a lot of guys will leave the union to start their own thing because then they'll hustle more just to get their own work and not have to worry about political.
Yeah.
There's benefits on both sides of that fence. There is, right? Unions were always a good idea, in my opinion. They were always a good idea at the start of it, kind of like government. But when anything can be corrupted, which I'm sorry to say, there is corruption in union, there is corruption in government. Once its corruption is there, then it starts factoring into the workforce.
Yeah.
Then it's going to start affecting the workforce. Like, do you see yourself staying an electrician, a union electrician for the next 30 years?
No, I honestly don't. And
so what have you given yourself? Like, you're 24 right now, 5 years into the game. You see the positives being a union member right now. You love the job doing the job. But what age are you going to be where you're not doing the job anymore?
I want to retire at 45, 40.
To do what?
Just look at other things in terms of
construction related or other things, something outside of construction.
Business, real estate, could be anything. Just get away from working with my hand. I don't want to work. Nobody wants to work with their hands for the rest of their life, especially the back problems you get. And
artists, there's plenty of artists that want to work with their hands for the rest of their lives. Sometimes they create their most important art.
They're painting, man. When you're doing hard labor,
it's hard. I know.
It sucks, man.
I know.
You know, and like I'm seeing a lot of these guys that are 65 and they don't even want to retire. I'm like, what?
I always ask if they don't want to or they can't.
They tell me they want to keep moving. They don't want to stop because they think if they stop moving, they'll die.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
Right? But I question, it depends on how much longer they're going to live. Because if you're 60, 65, you want to retire, and there's a good chance that you could live to 90, now you need to figure out how am I going to have income for 25 years, 25 to 30 years.
Yeah.
Like you got to figure out now you're 24 and what your income status that you need to survive right now. But later on in life, like, listen, my opinion is that when you reach 60, it should even be 50. I think I'm going to say 55 to be fair. I think at 55, all Canadians should stop paying taxes for everything. You buy something, you don't pay taxes on it. You buy a house, you don't pay taxes. You don't pay taxes on anything the moment you're 55.
I don't think income tax should be a thing, honestly.
I know, I agree with you. There's plenty of countries that are well in a better situation than Canada that do not charge income tax.
Amen. Look at Florida. Look at Dubai.
Yeah.
All these places there.
We pay too much tax. That's why I was going back to the hourly rate. You make X amount per week, you have your deductions, and then you're left with something. And now you take that something and you got to pay more tax on everything that you purchase now.
You know what? A lot of people, me personally, I would not mind paying taxes if I go outside Toronto and I see no bums and I see a beautiful city and I could be proud of my country and, But
you're paying taxes right now. You're not seeing any of that.
I'm not seeing none of that. Like, I'm paying my taxes, the garbage all over the street. Yeah. Fucking immigration is a mess.
I don't see the cause of paying taxes. I don't.
It's just, and then you go to these other places that where the taxes are high, like California, and then you compare that to places that where the taxes are low, and then the streets are beautiful. There's no homeless people. It's like, what are these governments really doing with our money?
They're laundering it.
And brother, think about this, bro. How much taxes are they really fucking bringing in, bro? We're getting taxed on everything from this fucking mic to this to that.
2023, $500 billion in tax.
I think it's way more than that.
Probably.
I think it's way more. They don't want to tell us because, bro, it's fucking everything's getting taxed.
Keep the mic close.
Everything's getting taxed. So it's
that's what I mean. Is their solution to any problem is to increase tax? Have you paid attention to Argentina?
Yeah, that their president or prime minister is amazing, man.
So he eliminated the national debt. That's a goal that Canada should be looking at. No, we've got a monkey that doubled the national debt in the 10 years that he was in power. He doubled what every other prime minister before him consumed. He doubled it. We should be looking at, and none of our government, not even the savior PC government now, is talking about what Javier did. None of it. All those politicians in that house right now should be taking lessons, should be calling him up. How did you do this? Give us a play-by-play how you did this. They don't want it because it means getting rid of government, getting rid of all this lazy. Government is the worst union ever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it is, man.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like,
so you got to wonder, what's it going to be like 10 years from now, 20 years from now? What's construction going to be like right now? We know that construction is all about cycles, right? It comes up and down. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're going to start seeing an increase in construction until 2027. So everyone's in survival mode for the next 2 years. I strongly believe there ain't going to be an election until next year because the puppets are controlling this shit, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, people are leaving this country.
You trust PC?
No, because I haven't seen them do anything.
Yeah.
I trust anybody the same way I trust people on a job site. I have to see what you're going to do.
So what do you think about Trump then?
I have no issue with Trump.
You trust him?
I don't know the man, so I can't say I trust him. I have no issue. I just know that he's doing things that are making things better for his nation.
Yeah.
That's all I see.
Yeah.
So Pierre is just talking. That's all he's doing. You can talk all you want. If I'm hiring you on a job site, you're an electrician, and all you keep on doing is just talk about how good you are and how much wire you can move and how you can secure all this and you can put a panel. You can talk, but I don't see any of it.
What can you do though?
If I'm like, start doing it.
If he doesn't have power though, what can he do? I don't know.
Call up Javier and ask him how he did it. Call up El Salvador and ask them how they did it. They got rid of all the crime. Yeah. Stop fucking making fentanyl and all these other drugs fucking legal. Stop all this vending machine shit. Stop the whole alphabet soup. Enough with this fucking pride shit. Like, it's done. Like, this is all done shit.
You know what? People are starting to wake up, and I think that we're heading in the right direction, but I don't think Canada's going to be in that.
We're going to be the last ones.
Exactly. We're going to be the last
I'm telling you right now, you ain't going to see a shining light in Canada until 2027. And that's if Pierre does what he's embarking.
That's if we're lucky.
Yeah, if we're lucky. So then in the meantime, you have to, the same way I started this whole show about how you need to fix your own backyard, you as a Canadian citizen need to fix your own backyard first. I don't give a fuck about this government. I don't give a fuck about what they're doing. I'm going to do what is best for me. Attention aspiring tradespeople and entrepreneurs. Looking to break into the skilled trades or start your own home service business? Meet Trade Links Consulting, your go-to partner for success. At Trade Links Consulting, they're passionate about helping you find the right trade, build your business, and mentor the next generation. Whether you're exploring your options or ready to take the plunge, they offer tailored career consulting and startup guidance to get you on the right track. Visit them at www.tradelinkconsulting.ca today and book your personalized strategy session. Your future in the skilled trade starts here. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. Period.
But when all the laws are against
then
you and businesses can't prosper, when it's tough, man. It's draining when you could literally just go across the border and fucking
depends on which state you go to. You want to go to California, it's going to be a worse situation.
I know. But if I'm saying like
you're going to go to Texas or Florida.
That's what I mean. Like in the States, they have way more options than us of like places they can go and what they
now
can.
they do because they have a change of leadership because they didn't have leadership.
But even prior to that, they had these red states that can that still had that common sense. Like Florida was open COVID the whole time. They did not shut down at all, you know. And then there's other states that it's a complete different story. When you go to New York,
did the union force your members to get vaccinated? You might not want to answer that one.
Do not. No, I do not. I did not get vaccinated. Me personally, I can say that.
But I thought a lot of unions were forcing.
I remember. No, it was not the union. It was some sites
suggesting that they should.
Yeah, they were suggesting. And then there were some sites that, like, for hospitals or something, that it was mandatory, and it's understandable for like hospitals, but
it's
for
not
other
understandable.
Sites, yeah.
If it was so dangerous, why were we still allowed to walk around? I questioned everything, and that's why.
If it was a normal vaccine, like the ones we had prior when we were growing up, yeah, it would make sense. But this vaccine was like made in 6 months, and it's just a bunch of fishy stuff. But
see what I mean about how Canada is just forgetting? Everything in the States right now is all coming out that it was all the conspiracy theorists were all correct.
Yeah.
And now you've got pardons to people that have never been arrested, right? So that's all happening south of us, but our Canadian government not discussing it because they keep on pushing the mandate of this vaccine bullshit, right? So it's just like, wait, you guys should be actually kicked out. Our government has committed so many crimes, and yet they're still in power. There's lots of crimes, man, and they're still in power. That's what the Canadian government is going to be known for the next little while. You get away with whatever you want to do. So why would you want to contribute that as a Canadian citizen and stay here? Because your question is always about staying here or either becoming part of the U.S. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that that's a good option. I think the best option is to get rid of the corruption in Canada, all of it. Purge every single member, investigate every single member, every single one. And if there's a stain on anybody, then you're out, and you're out for life. You can never be a political anything.
Yeah. You know what?
That fixes Canada. When you're collecting money from all the Canadian citizens, if you want to collect money from the parliament members, and then you want to use that money to do what you want to do, then by all means, go ahead and do all you want. But they ain't going to do that. They're not going to collect that money and shit. So until you get rid of corruption, which by human nature you can't, because they're so ingrained in it, Canada is a breeding ground for this shit. And it's the only way to get into America.
How long have you been doing podcasting?
7 years now. Next month will be 7 years.
What were you doing before that?
I was GC.
GC, what is
15.
That? General contractor?
General contractor.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
In custom residential. I never did
nice.
Commercial. I did one high-rise. Hate high-rise. Because I can't stand elevator restrictions. I can't stand rules regarding what I can bring up or not bring up or protection of hallways. I couldn't stand any of that crap. So I did just one job and I never did it again.
You just shut down your business and you said, "Fuck it, I'm not going back."
No, I just eventually the show became more of a job than construction did.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why. So then I just made the decision that I want to tell these stories. I want to hear these stories. I want to talk to people. And here we are later, whatever, 700 plus shows. And this is what it is, right? So I enjoy doing this.
Would you ever go the political route?
No.
You don't like that? No?
No, because I like my car and I don't need a bomb attached to my car.
I don't think. Now, Canada is a safe country.
Man, a Black Hawk flew into a commercial airliner. 2 pieces of machinery that have navigation systems on them to avoid that.
That's fucked.
Putting a bomb in Manny's car?
Yeah.
Not a bomb. You'll be threatened. Like I don't need to have that conversation, right? I don't need someone to be showing up and threatening me, right? And I've joked. I said there should be a blue collar party.
But I think you'd be the great fucking candidate for this. We need a Tucker Carlson in Canada.
You do. We don't. The only one is Maxine out in Quebec there, but he doesn't have enough of attraction for it. I
like what Rebel News is doing too.
And they had to fight for that because they were shut down by this government
multiple times. Yeah.
Like if the first thing that Pierre doesn't do when he gets into power, because everything's all lined up that he's going to get into power, right? And if he doesn't shut down CBC completely, take a wrecking ball and smash that fucking building down, then I know he's another puppet.
Yeah.
That's it. Because that's all he's ever chirped about. He's always talked about defunding all the fucking mass media, all the news sources. That's all he's talked about. So if he doesn't do that, then he's a puppet.
He might use it to his advantage, like.
But then he's a puppet.
Exactly, and then he's no better than those other guys.
And that's what I think Canadian politics is all about. You got to think about, globally speaking, how do you get and infiltrate America? You get it through Canada. So Trump doing what he's doing in America right now, he's protecting his own nation.
No, I really think it's deeper than that. I think Canada, there's some things about that Antarctica is melting, and then that's going to be another trade route, and that America wants that
There's
for
all
the
kinds
future.
of shit going on.
I think.
But when you got politicians like Jerkov Singh talking about, you know what, we understand you trans and you refugees and you immigrants in America don't have a safe haven anymore. You guys are more than welcome to Canada. Is that better or worse for Canada? Does that make Canada a better place?
When he said all the trans people from America can come here and claim asylum, like,
does that really make sense?
Holy fuck! What are you running away from in America? Please tell me. What
It doesn't make any sense. So it just and then no politician here defended it. No one said no. That's not a good idea. That doesn't make any sense.
That is the least thing that is surprising me. Is the fact that
turn the mic. Point to
the least thing that is
just tilt it. Yeah, that's it.
The least thing that is surprising me, because the fucking Singh guy is a complete joke. The fact that he would talk so much shit about Trudeau and then not call the fucking election.
You know what's the common denominator in all these politicians? You know what the common thing is? All you have to do is follow the money. Look at what their net worth was before they got into power and look at what it is today. If there's a huge discrepancy between those two numbers, there's other things that are going on here. Jakob Singh's fucking net worth is almost 100 million. Trudeau's net worth is almost 500 million.
Is it 100 million?
Yeah.
How the fuck?
Exactly.
I know Trudeau got his money from his dad.
Yeah. Well, he had a trust started at 11. He's been in power for 10 years and he's somehow magically made 11 million turn into 500 million.
Holy fuck.
How does that? That's like the school of Nancy Pelosi. Like that's amazing how you do that. I want to see that infomercial. I gotta sign up for that.
Another thing that needs to be wiped off is the World Economic Forum. Like those fuckers are the most corrupt. They're a bunch of billionaires that think they can control the fucking world. And the fact that our prime minister is fucking kissing up to their asses is just beyond me. The first thing that the PC should do as soon as he fucking gets in power is,
he's talked how he's not going to have anything to do with that.
But no, I swear he was always against them, no?
No, that's what he said. He said, no, Canada, when he's prime minister, will not have anything to do with WEF.
Oh, okay, yeah,
he said that.
That's good.
I get it.
And, I would love a prime minister or president like Trump to come to, this country would be beautiful. Beautiful.
Why don't you just move to the States?
I'm planning on it. Honestly, I got the crib for sale. Trying to, but...
Would you be an electrician down there?
Yeah, honestly, I was joining the IBEW, but I heard that you gotta rewrite the test over there or something like that.
Why? It's the same kind of electrical, basically.
Yeah, it's the same, but I think it's just a little bit different code. You just gotta write that test again.
What part of the States would you be in?
Florida. Man, Florida is beautiful. You wouldn't ever move to the States? But think about the taxes.
The only cities that I liked were Chicago, New York, and New Orleans.
New York's another.
But yeah, these are three cities that are not in favor of my interest anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Am I interested in Florida year round? No. I'd rather be on an island someplace else, right? No. So there isn't a city in the US that appeals to me to be as a permanent. It doesn't appeal to me. Europe appeals to me.
Europe?
Yeah. Europe appeals to me, right?
Yeah, Europe is beautiful, but their way of life is more tranquilo, It's like calm. You don't have to stress about work too much. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
they have a different mindset, and I don't mind the PM from from Italy, right? I see eye to eye with some of the stuff that she's talking about, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't mind that. But there's far and few still, right? That's the problem.
How about that lady from Alberta? What do you think about her?
Yeah, she's fine, but again, chirping, talking.
Yeah.
Until we start seeing action, we've seen 10 years of action right now, but in the wrong direction. So until I start seeing positive action that benefits people, Canada can't continue on this tax and tax and tax. We can't. They're going to get past 50%. They're still going. Look at the bullshit going on with capital gains with 66.6. It was never passed in law because Trudeau closed law.
66.6? That's crazy.
I know, but I know because that's who she is, right? But the thing is, that was never passed in law, but yet he told the CRA to still collect it.
Fuck.
That's against the law. That's a criminal action that he did, but he's not being prosecuted for it. That's what I mean.
Okay, so how about all the people that paid into it?
Then
too?
they're
It's
stupid
like
for listening to their accountants, and they're stupid for not objecting it.
Yeah, you should take that to court, right? It wouldn't hold up.
And then
court.
what do you think the Canadian government uses to fight that? They have unlimited tax funds to fight your suit.
Yeah, exactly. And then look what happened to the truckers, innocent people that just donated to them.
And that's why a lot of people are scared to speak up because they saw what they could do. And yet they were never arrested for their illegal actions, even though the higher courts found them guilty in doing that. They weren't allowed to do that.
You see, I feel like if something like that happened in America, I think it would be handled way differently. And
it did happen, but it was happening to one individual. The amount of shit that Trump went through last year as they kept on throwing shit at him, which never stuck.
Yeah.
And yet he still became president. And now they're working on new shit to prevent him from doing what he needs to do for the next 4 years. And then my question is, what happens after the 4 years? Who's going to take his position?
I think Trump's smart enough to make it so that no president or future candidate is gonna ever endure what he endured. You know, he's gonna probably build some laws, and I heard that he was starting to do make some laws so that it's illegal to fucking do what these fuckers
but once
do.
you become president, you have executive power, so you could do a bunch of shit, as we saw Biden do in his last few days, right?
Oh my god, that's
so
sick
it's just
fuck.
but I mean, you tell me it's any different here in Canada?
I think they have way more freedom, man. Just the fact that
I mean the level of corruption of what they're getting away with. I'm not talking about the Trump government. I'm talking about the Biden government, what the Democrats did.
Yeah.
Right? They got away with so much shit, and it's like I think that Canadian Trudeau and all of his monkeys, they're getting away with so far more, so much more,
way more.
That's what I'm saying. As a Canadian, why would you stay here if you're not planning? You're a business owner. You're running a business, a construction business, and you're watching all of your expenses increasing while your revenue is not increasing in the same manner, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, all the money you bring in, you get to keep less of it. And then next year is going to be even worse. Then the year after that is going to be even worse. At some point, you're going to have to look at that balance sheet of your business. You're going to go, I can't sustain this business anymore. I have to close this business down now. Then what are you going to do? You're going to go work for somebody else now? You're going to make a fraction of what you were making as a business owner, but you're still going to get taxed all that money on top of the money you're making. So why would you stay here? They're not making it attractive to stay here. They're not allowing us to dig the crude oil, which we have the second largest in the world. We could be supplying the entire world. 33% of it could be supplied towards the world. We have a large amount of gas that we could be supplying a bunch of countries, not just America. And that's all revenue. That could wipe out our national debt, including the double that Trudeau did himself. Wipe it out. But they don't want to do that. They don't, because they have their own personal invested interests there. Trudeau's making money by not investing in Canada. That's how they get their net worth up. By not investing in Canada, they become richer. But by not investing in Canada, we become poorer. That's what's going on.
Exactly. The more money they print is taking away from our pockets at the end of the day.
So at what point do you stand up as a Canadian going, we've had enough of this shit? I don't like going around Toronto anymore because the majority of Torontoians that walk around Toronto do not fucking discuss this shit. Yeah. They're either for all the bullshit or you're either against the bullshit, but both sides don't ever fucking discuss it. They just let it go.
And it's funny. I used to have this joke where I'd go on site and it would be a full packed elevator. I'll walk in the elevator and I'll talk to my buddy and be like, this is why I think we need 4 more years of Trudeau. And you just see the look on these fuckers' faces like, oh, like, I'm going to fuck this kid up. Like, who's this guy? But, you know, it's just, I think.
Did you vote the last election?
Yes, I did.
Can I ask what you voted?
Conservative, of course. My family was always conservative growing up. I was a proud Canadian, man. This country was like, you know, like, I loved Canada, bro. Like, fuck, growing up, I was so proud to be a Canadian.
You ever been back home?
I haven't been back home, but visiting other countries and flexing that I'm a Canadian, like, yeah, I was proud.
It used to have value.
Yeah, it used to have value. Now it's like we're the laughing stock of the world. You know, when Trudeau went to Europe and they're like, you have no.
Nobody
you should know
him.
you have no business being here because you don't know what democracy is or something like that. Like, he's a clown, man. And common sense is not so common in Canada. There was a point where I was like, fuck, there's no way people are this fucking stupid to be constantly. The last election when I saw Trudeau win, I just gave up. I'm like, there is no way people are this stupid, you know?
I don't think he fairly legally won.
Yeah, I honestly think that was rigged because, like, bro, everybody I speak to is like, I hate Trudeau. I don't like Trudeau. You know, this guy's fucking up our government.
I don't know
it's
a single person in construction
exactly,
that voted for Liberal.
Even these, like, the immigrants, like, I speak to the immigrants and they should be thankful of Trudeau because he's the one bringing them in. But even they don't like him. So it's like, who likes this guy? Who's voting him in? They need to fucking investigate interference for the fucking elections, bro. Honestly,
they investigated to the Quebec scandal. They investigated all the other stuff, and then nothing ever comes from it. So when you got a leader, and I use that word loosely, who has power over the investigation process.
Yeah. It's like there's
you
winning.
do something wrong, and then your best friend is the investigating officer on it. You tell your best friend you didn't investigate anything, you didn't find anything. That's what happens. Introducing Alt Labor Solutions, the game changer for contractors and laborers. Are you a contractor needing skilled labor, or have labor in need of quick shifts? Or how about buying, selling, or renting tools, material, and equipment? Connect easily with contractors and find resources hassle-free through Alt Labor Solutions online platform. Post job listings with project details, browse public resumes, and choose the right person for the job. Explore their job board for new opportunities and connect with top talent. Alt Labor Solutions revolutionizes the labor industry with a user-friendly interface, secure payments, and a supportive team. Visit them at altlaborsolutions.com and start connecting with other contractors today. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life. Is it going to change? No, because this is Canada's path now. It only changes by you get 40 million Canadians to storm the capital. That's all you do. The parliament. But you get them another truckers convoy. That's all you do. You let them know they're not allowed to do this anymore. It's not going to happen though.
Yeah.
So the question is, like, you go back to hardworking tradespeople could survive back in the day. You could earn an honest wage, pay your fair share of taxes, buy a car, maybe even a toy or two on the side, pay your house off, take care of all the expenses for your family, provide for your family, buy a cottage and have a cottage life. You could do all that shit. You can't even buy a house today. You can't.
It's tough without your family helping you or anything. Like,
you need a bunch of help.
Exactly. There's some relationships that people still living together and they fucking hate each other.
But they have to stick it out,
exactly.
Right? But it goes back to, why would a 24-year-old want to get into construction?
Yeah, you're right.
Right? When what's the other options out there? What other career options?
I should have been a fucking TikToker and
First of all, you can't make money on TikTok in Canada.
Yeah, you can with some sponsorships.
Yeah, but that's individual, but not by views.
Yeah.
In America, you can buy views, right? So again, you're leaving Canada now to become a TikToker in the chance that you'll be part of the 1% that makes millions of dollars on TikTok.
Is it 1%?
Look it up. I have no idea. It ain't 100%. It ain't 50.
Yeah,
there's no way. It's a small
the
percentage.
thing about TikTok is like they gave a voice to the people that would have never had a voice if it wasn't for that app. Like a bunch.
I know, but look at TikTok is getting banned now, right? Whenever they don't like platforms, they're deeming that all social media, the Democrats, that all social media was dangerous, but yet they were still funding Facebook.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, Facebook and Meta is social media, and then as soon as Trump gets elected, you got Zuckerberg saying, we're not going to censorship anymore. Oh, so you admit to doing that. Because you were being paid by the Democratic Party to do that. Corruption again, over and over. Look at our social media. You know that Trudeau has a podcast?
Really?
Yeah. It's our dollar funded. You know how many people listen to his show?
How much?
Less than 100 each episode.
And the fact that we're paying for that is insane.
My calculations is I think it costs taxpayers over $7,000 for each episode to produce. Our tax dollars are paying for that. Nobody's objecting to that. Why the fuck do we need a liberal podcast?
Such a fucking narcissist. So, like, imagine if this story, somebody were to tell you this 20 years ago, that you were going to have a prime minister.
You would never
it's like, you're going to have a prime minister that's going to come up, he's going to have his own podcast, and nobody's going to watch it. And this country, man. Every day I wake up, it's like, fuck, man.
When you get a kid who comes up to you because they see you and they see that you're doing the work in the construction industry, what do you tell them about the construction industry? Like, do you tell them you can make a lot of money here, you can do well here?
Honestly, I haven't experienced the lot of money yet, but I know that.
What's a lot of money to a 24-year-old? What's an annual salary to a 24-year-old?
I mean, like,
that you consider is a lot of money.
Before I got into the trades, I was into some stupid shit and like some fuckery, but I was making money at the time. So I saw money, and then I come back to like minimum wage. It's like, fuck. But there was 1 year as a third year apprentice where I was working in the union, and that company was telling me you could stay as long as you want. Yeah, overtime, whatever, just get this done. And we were the wire pullers. Like, the wire pullers can stay as long as you want, just get this fucking building done. So we would stay 12 hours every fucking day, even come in on Saturdays, and fuck, double time is a lot all year long. That year I made over 100K. I was like, fuck, for a third year, that's amazing.
Is that 100K clean?
No, that's after taxes.
So
and
what
everything.
did you make then?
I can't remember. I don't know. I didn't calculate. It was probably like 60 or 70, you know, but for a third year apprentice, I felt like, yeah, that's amazing. But that's nothing compared to what you can make having your own business. Because I see some of these guys, I worked for some of these guys that they'll show me like, oh, that factory we worked at this month, look how much I made from it. It's like 40,000 in a month. Fuck, man, like, you know?
What do you mean, as a worker in that factory?
No, it's like contract. You get a contract from this factory.
A contract union or non-union?
Non-union, to change the lights or change all the fucking lights in the factory.
So then why would you go union then?
Why would I go union?
If they're making so much more money.
To finish my apprenticeship.
So so once you finish your apprenticeship though, you have the option to go non-union then?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's frowned upon to start your own company in non-union.
But I know lots of guys that went that route.
It's frowned upon in the union, but I mean,
because it doesn't benefit the union.
Exactly, but I mean, fuck, that's the goal at the end of the day for a lot of these guys. Like, you just want to finish your apprenticeship as fast as possible and start making that.
What do you got left? How many hours you got left?
I'm a fifth year, so I got one more year until I can write.
Yep.
So probably like, I think it's 1,800 hours every year.
Do you see a lot of turnover?
What do you mean by turnover?
You seeing a lot of like new faces on the job sites all the time? Or is it
Nah, bro. There was one site where we had 100 electricians, just in electricians at that site. And that site, I love that site because you see a lot of guys, you made a lot of buddies, and I still hang out with those guys to this day, you know? And turnover, when you say turnover, like I don't see a lot of younger guys coming around. You don't see.
What are you seeing? Like guys that are what, 10 years older than you?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm always working with guys much older than me. I'm never working with guys my age. It's very rare you see a pre-apprentices in our field too, because it's like it's so stupid for the electricians, because you got to do a year in the union. You got to do a year of pre-apprenticeship, which is like slave labor for fuck all, and that doesn't get counted towards your apprenticeship. So it's like, yeah, so like 1 year of pre-apprenticeship.
Why does it not get counted towards?
I think it can't get. I don't know too much about it, but I know the plumbers, they don't have that. They joined the union, the plumbers union, and they started as a first year. That's good, you know. $19 an hour, you're good to go. Electricians, on the other hand, like it's hard for these younger guys to say, okay, I want to join the union, and then fucking 1 year of like bitch work when I could just join the plumbers, make $19 an hour, and I start my apprenticeship right away. You know, that's something we need to vote, honestly, for our union. But
there's a lot of electricians that will go through the union apprentice, get their ticket, then they're done, and then they'll leave and start their own business and make more money. That happens. That
happens. Like you can make a killing, but then again, there's a lot of guys that's going their own and they don't make it. You know, like you're taking the risk at the end of the day. You only make it
if you work it, right?
Yeah.
Like now, all the responsibilities on you now.
Yeah, but fuck, how can, like in the electrical field, if you're doing things right, your phone's always going to be ringing. Like everybody needs a fucking electrician, man. Like you see some of these guys that they don't even schedule people for like 4 months in advance because they're so busy, you know? So it's like if you're doing things the right way and you're taking pride in your work, and
you'll get work.
I don't see why you wouldn't get work, you know? Like
you'll get lots of work.
Everybody wants pot lights. Everybody wants their electrical work done at their house.
So as a union though, a guy that stays there, there's got to be guys that are like 30, 40 years into the union.
Yeah, yeah.
Why did they stay there that whole time? Why didn't they go on their own?
Consistency, easy. They just like
want
that.
Steady. It's the freedom. They're always going to get work. They're high on the seniority list, so they'll never be left at home during hard times. Mm-hmm. So it's just like they know they have a paycheck.
Exactly. I worked with a guy for 2 years. I tell you that this is a little bit dark, but I worked with this guy 2 years side by side. He taught me everything I know in terms of like, he's a really smart guy, man. Like and he's a normal guy. You wouldn't expect anything from him in terms of like.
Why is there a lot of past tense here, man?
Being normal, but so one day he was always funny. We'd always joke around, and one day he comes to work all down and stuff. I'm like, hey, what's going on? You know? It's like, oh, me and my wife are going through it, and yeah, whatever. So him and his wife, he tells me later that week that. Yeah, his wife was taking half his money and they want a divorce, and then now she's coming for his pension. And I'm like, fuck, man. He was so devastated and all sad, and so he stopped eating. I seen the guy lose weight, sit in the electric room by himself for lunch, and I would go sit with him because I knew, fuck, man, like I feel bad. This guy needs somebody to talk to. Even he raised that girl's stepson from when she was 20. But fuck, you know, like he told me a bunch of stuff involving his relationship, and then he just lost it one day. Kills his wife, kills his kid, and then fucking kills himself. Like they had a kid together and then kills himself. And I was like, come to work the next day. He's like, that guy died. I'm like, what? He was literally messaging me like, yo, are you coming to work tomorrow? Like, fuck. I was so shocked. And it's like, going down that route, yeah, you're going to have that steady income, but like one inconvenience like that is like your life's over, man. Like, it wasn't really over for him, but like he still had a chance to whatever.
Yeah, but everything that he worked for was being taken away from him.
Yeah, and it was tough for him to accept that, you know? And that's what I mean. Like I would never stay in the union for my lifetime, because like one inconvenience, one
But
thing
you're
that
already
happened.
starting that. Like you started your career path that way. You already
Yeah.
have the mindset that, so you're already thinking what your life is going to be like 5, 10, 20, 30 from
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
So you're already thinking. But a lot of union guys don't think that. They're more about, they have the steady work, the steady income. That's what it is. But it's unfortunate that even the rule of she's allowed to go after his pension.
Yeah.
Like if there's a separation, that's the one thing that there's lots of little things that I respect about Trump. Child support.
Yeah.
The child support act that he just changed, where it's like if you pay it, then you can use it as a tax. But if you're not paying it, you can't use it as a tax. Right? So it's like it makes sense. So if you get a divorce, she shouldn't have access to that pension.
Absolutely not, man. Absolutely
Right? That's
not.
his pension. But in Canadian law, it favors the woman. Doesn't matter if she's the bad person, it still favors the woman.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate that was the solution that he came up with, which
Yeah.
is really, and you got to wonder at what point did he get pushed to?
Yeah.
We don't know the whole story.
Yeah,
We'll
I
never
know,
know
yeah,
the whole
exactly,
story.
exactly.
So you saw him and you were talking to him and you saw that he was down, but you don't know exactly what was going on when he left the job site.
Yeah.
But then here's the sad thing. There's another part of it is that he was replaced as a worker on that
Yeah,
job site the very next day.
Exactly.
That's it. His life's gone. His child's life's gone. His ex-wife's life's gone. 3 lives gone. And he's replaced with somebody else right away. That's how important he was.
Yep. That's why, like
And the majority of it is always men.
Yep.
That's what's sad.
Terrible, man.
Men get
Terrible.
pushed to that point.
That's one thing that needs to be changed in society all over the world, man. Like guys always get fucked over when it comes to not even being able to see their kids. Like it's usually the woman that gets them, and come on, man. Like we're humans too, man. Men are humans too.
No, we're not. When we stop providing, we're not human anymore.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's as sad as it sounds,
Listen,
man. Like it's terrible.
You probably heard this. Like the best and the worst decision you can make is who you choose as a partner.
Yeah, I've heard that countless times. But then a lot of these guys on my site will say, "Oh, happy life, happy wife." Man, nah,
all bullshit.
fuck all that, man. We all gotta be happy, man. We all gotta be happy. Nobody wants to come home after a fucking long day of work to his woman arguing and all that.
Men have to be careful, man. Back in my day, I knew a guy, we were the same age, and he was dating somebody and she had a child. And then they broke up and she went after this guy for child support for a child that was not his child.
How
And
is that even work?
she proved to the court that he was enough of an influence to that child as a father figure that he is now obligated to pay child support, and he had to start paying child support to a child that was not his child. So anybody that's in a common law or considering dating a baby mama, all kinds of shit like that, you need to factor in that the laws are there. If you ever want to have a wake-up call regarding wedding plans and shit like that, I would advise any man to go spend a day at family court.
Amen.
Just have a day at family court. You're not being called. You're not on the docket. Your name's not there. Just sit in the gallery and just listen.
Exactly.
And I guarantee you, all your wedding plans will be destroyed.
I even hear stories of like prenuptial agreements not even working or holding up in court. So it's like you could take every precaution possible and like, and at the end of the day, they're always gonna have those females back. It's terrible, man.
It's always in favor of her. It doesn't matter,
terrible.
right? And then it depends on, and I'm saying like, it's human nature. People ask me why I've never been married, and I just said that I always say the same thing. I can't tell you what kind of person I'm going to be 20 years from now. And I don't know what kind of person she's going to be 20 years from now. So I don't know. So I can't make a decision based on a conclusion from decades from now. I can't.
But you know what's terrible is like, I'm the type of guy, like I want to have as many kids as I possibly can. Like I'm trying to have like 20, I want to have a whole basketball team.
There's plenty of nations for that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's
like
not Canada or America.
Well,
parts of America.
Yeah, but like if you got it, a woman is the most important decision, or your partner is going to be the most important decision you'll choose in your life.
It'll be the best or the worst.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Why do you think marriages are down? Why do you think most men, the increase of men not being married is increasing on a yearly basis? Why is the reproduction of children decreasing in Canada? There's lots, because of these laws don't favor the man.
But you know what I noticed is, like, you go to these like hoods, you would say, or I mean like communities that don't have so much, and like you see 20 kids, they're having kids like no tomorrow. But I mean, these people that are in the nicer neighborhoods, or they're not having as many kids.
But are people having kids so they can take care of the system?
Maybe that could be.
The system offers so many perks to having a child. Attention contractors and construction professionals. Do you feel like your expenses are way too high? Imagine cutting your spending by 28%. At Schooley Mitchell, they dig deep to help you save on essential expenses that could be impacting your bottom line. Their risk-free analysis allows you to concentrate on your trade while they find those savings for you. Don't let extra expenses keep you from achieving the success you deserve. Reach out today to schedule your risk-free analysis and unlock your savings. Find them at www.schooleymitchell.com/office/AEGIUGGIO/about. Or reach out to them at erica.giugio@schooleymitchell.com. This message is proudly supported by the Construction Life.
I mean, or it could be a lot of the people in the nicer areas could be overthinking it too much, honestly. The people that are in the lower class, they're just, fuck it, let's have a kid, let's breed, yeah, why not? But these people, it's like, oh, we got to think about this and that, and can we afford it?
Are there a lot of married union members, or are there more not?
I know there's a lot of married guys, man. Yeah. Most of them are married. Yeah. A lot of guys I work with are married.
I'm just curious.
I mean, like, it's the union is a safe route. But then, like, fuck, man, something happens and, like, you lose everything. So it's like, that's why I want to go the business route. It wouldn't hurt as much if my girl leaves me if I have a successful company that's doing very well. Okay, take whatever, but it's still going to hurt. I just don't think it's right if a man builds something so great just because he was married to somebody. She deserves...
If they worked on it together,
yeah,
and they contributed to building it together, then I get it. I respect that. But if they're expecting a paycheck just for the sake because you're associated with them, I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's why men have to be careful. I mean, like you've seen it, like football players, like
yeah,
moving money around. Like you just. You talked about how can you do that when the government's got their hands in everything. There's ways of doing things because people are doing things. There's ways of moving money around that wealthy people are doing that general population people don't do. There's lots of. I had conversations plenty on this show about people with investments and money and where to put certain things, and you have to be aware of all. So you have to start planning all that shit and protecting yourself. Simple as that. All the government's going to continue to do. Do you really think this government is going to start to reverse all this shit? The moment the government gets its hands on anything,
exactly,
they never let go of it.
Yeah.
So as a Canadian citizen, you really think Canada has a sunshine coming? No, not until you start reversing, and you can have all these politicians who bark and talk and all this shit until I start seeing action. And then when they don't do it, they'll turn around and they'll start using excuses on why. Well, the opposition is preventing us from doing this. Like, you know what? Then get on the other side and punch the opposition. We start waking people up. It's as simple as that.
But you see, that's why I like Trump so much, but he's the only guy that can talk and fucking do. He's see everything.
Doing what he said he was going to do.
Exactly. He's the only politician.
I'm still waiting. I want to see these files. I want to see the MLK files. I want to see the JFK files. I want to see the Bobby file. I want to see all these files.
And I think he will do it.
He should be investigating that plane and helicopter crash. There should be a full investigation on that.
Amen. But that, you know what? He's starting to build trust for the Americans and their government and that's a good thing.
But
when
the opposition is wasting time by just attacking him on little stupid things.
What do you mean the opposition?
The Democrats.
Yeah,
they just keep
exactly.
Just keep on trying to dig at him. Listen, the media didn't shut off. They still attack him.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's just not sticking because people are starting to wake up, man. They're starting to realize that at the end of the day, man, like you can say whatever you want about Trump, but fuck, man, I think he cares about his country.
I'm not against any media. You know, back in the day, way back in the day in the 60s, the media was supposed to present both sides of the story.
Yeah, and then we're supposed to decide.
It was Nixon that stopped it. So talking about American media, it was Nixon that stopped that. And he stopped it because he was doing illegal things.
Yeah.
That's why he stopped it. So now all we get is one side, and depend on who you listen to. And then when you get on social media, it's funny how you get both sides there, but just through the way it's all set up, I'll still get bombarded with pro fucking Trudeau crap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's clearly obvious I'm not in support of anything to do with liberals. And I never have been, never will be. I didn't agree with him when he first got in. Got in on the basis of weed.
Weed, exactly.
And I'm like, that's not how you run a country. That's how you run down a country.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's proven. He's done that. And I never supported him on the second time because I knew that was going to be stolen. Simple as that. So
how did you know it was going to be stolen? Like,
because I talked to enough people, and then they start telling me about certain things, and I'm like, so I get information from a bunch of sources, and then I form my own opinion.
Yeah.
That's what every Canadian should be doing.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
You should form your own opinion. If a politician is avoiding answering questions regarding a green slush fund, then you should be questioning why. You shouldn't be dancing around that. And if you ask a question and the politician dances around that question with some stupid answer, you should interrupt that politician and go, can you please answer this question? I don't need a soundbite from your future election promises. I want to know what the answer is. Tell me. And then you keep on bombarding over and over. That's what Pierre should be doing in Parliament, but they can't do it now because it's shut down.
Yeah,
they've done that on purpose. Until there's a lawsuit going on right now, February 15th, to go after the Liberal government for proroguing whatever the government, for basically pausing the government. It's not fair to us. You can't pause the government while you're looking for a leader. They're not looking for a leader. They're looking for a marketing avenue on how to spin this shit. They're not looking to choose a leader. That could be done in fucking 1 hour.
Yeah.
But they're figuring out, how do we present this marketing fucking plan?
And then you have Carney is like, I'm going to take away the carbon tax and then replace it with something. And no,
I understand that Carney is more dangerous than Trudeau.
He destroyed, I heard that he destroyed the British economy, and then now he was in
First of all, no politician should ever be associated with a corporation that is awarded government contracts.
Yep.
And that's Carney.
Yep.
He's associated with Brookfield. So Brookfield is specifically getting government contracts. That's a conflict of interest. So he should not be anywhere near politics, or he should completely leave Brookfield. People need to understand how dangerous this is. But Trudeau was doing it blindly too, because he's associated with other companies, and he's giving them favoritism too, getting away with shit, man. What else you want to share before I get to the 12 questions, Matthew? I wonder how much trouble I'm going to get into with this show. Otto, how much trouble am I going to get into?
I mean, what do I want to share? I want everybody to just start using common sense.
Is there a glimmer of hope for Canada, for Canadians?
I hope so. I'm not the guy to ask, but fuck.
Who was it on the show? There was somebody on the show recently that was saying, as much as all this shit is going on, I would like to think that there's a good guy for all this
I
bad
heard
guy.
that. Yeah, I saw that.
Right? And I'm like, I would love to. Sometimes I've had dreams of like some sort of superhero coming in and just beating the shit out of all the members of parliament that are creating all this bullshit. But that's not reality, right? Trump is a superhero down there.
Yeah.
And I've said it on the show before too. Like I think that they're still going to try to take him out before he's done his term.
And that's why I think we should just fucking join them, man. Fuck, that's the only politician. That's the only politician I trust. And
but look at California's governor.
Yeah.
So if you had Trudeau as a governor, look at the governors that are associated with certain states that are so fucked up. Like, it would just be one big fuckery up here with a governor of Trudeauship, right? So it's like, I don't trust that.
Yeah.
That whole California fire thing was all planned. Maui, planned.
Obviously, man. It's just,
The helicopter, plane, planned. All this shit is being planned, and you start paying attention to why and who's benefiting from it.
why doesn't that stuff happen in Canada?
It does. It's just never reported.
You think like shit like wildfires wiping out entire cities that happens?
All the last year's wildfires out west there, that was all planned shit.
Fuck.
That was all planned shit, man. They were preventing firefighters from going in there to put them out. They were preventing them from doing that.
Oh.
They sent their planes overseas. We had no planes, but then the California fires had all our Canadian planes went down there.
Yeah.
Like, this is bullshit. Then they say it's all climate change. They needed these fires to justify climate bullshit change. There is no fucking climate. There's no issue with climate. There's a parliament and government bullshit. That's what it is. We need to eradicate all members of parliament, start from scratch. That's what we need to do.
Yep.
Anybody who's done anything wrong, out. Period.
Anybody that even worked for fucking Trudeau.
That's what
just
Javier
kick
did
'em out,
in
man.
Argentina.
Yeah.
He investigated every single fucker. Every single one.
And
That wakes up people.
That's what they're doing in America
But
with the
they're not
Doge.
doing it here in Canada,
Yep.
and they're getting away with a bunch of shit here in Canada. We're a laughing stock. I watch Rogan occasionally, and I see him talk about it.
Man.
He's like, he goes, he said it over and over. I hate Trudeau.
Like,
I
I
can't
would
stand
never
that.
step foot in, and
I know
he's not wrong.
He's
I
a
don't blame
communist,
him.
right? All this other shit, all these comments, right? Like, how do you get a government that stops you from getting I'm sure you come across it, Facebook, you can't see it because of the new laws that he's changed. And then the other bill that they're trying to get on there as well, where they're going to basically, the Minority Report bill. If they think you're going to commit a crime, they can arrest you. If you say something that they think is hate speech, they can arrest you. What is that shit?
Terrible.
That's bullshit.
Even in England, they started hiring, arresting people for
a girl gets raped in England and they end up arresting her, not the people who raped her. What the fuck is that shit?
Terrible.
A girl posts a video, about a song that has certain lyrics, and she gets house arrest.
Say if we were to sit back and nobody were to fight against these fuckers, these evil fuckers, what would the world look like? What would you think the world would look like?
We would all be in concentration camps that they call cities.
Yeah.
That's what we'd be in.
I think that they're trying
We
to
would be
normalize
checkpoints, and nobody would be allowed to get out of certain areas. You would only be allowed to be an electrician on these high rises. You can't work outside of this until there's another project that comes up. You can't go work in zone 5, zone 6, zone 7. It would be Judge Dredd. It would be all these concrete. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
Communities and towers.
They're trying to
Who wants
normalize
that?
fucking.
While they live in the high life. If the climate is really happening, why are all the elites buying homes on the edges of oceans? If the waters are going to rise, why would you buy homes on the edge of water? It's all fucking horseshit.
Yep.
Every single decade has been a horseshit regarding gas and fuel and ozone layer. What was the latest one? I saw one right now with like the hole in the ozone layer is going to be massive by 2050. You guys are fucking out to lunch,
Fuck
man.
out that, man. That's a
You're out
bunch
to
of
lunch.
baloney.
Bill
man.
Gates and people like that all need to fucking disappear. If RFK, what he said in his book was so untrue and all full of lies, why has he not been sued? He points the finger directly at Gates and Fauci. But he's not been sued. He's never going to get sued. And then you see Gates and he's talking about it. He goes, well, he has the right to say his opinion, but he's wrong. That's all he says. But if he's so wrong, why are you not suing him? You're not suing him because he's right. People need to wake up.
Yep.
Vaccines.
We constantly go down that road, man.
Good luck on that.
Yep.
In my lifetime, good luck on that. I will never agree to any bullshit mandates ever again in the rest of my fucking days. Never.
Never. They're gonna try and normalize even fucking predators coming after our children. They're gonna say, "Oh, that's a normal
That's
fucking."
the next. I bet you any money. That's the next step.
Yeah.
Once they start telling you that when you die, your debt still rolls over to your next of kin or whatever. I guarantee you they will. She's already free. Remember when she extended the amortization for the mortgages?
Yeah.
She thought that was a good fucking idea. All you're doing is extending mortgage debt. That's all you're doing.
So, like, what happens is if the person dies before they were to pay it, it goes on to their,
You don't think that's a possibility that they might do? You don't think that's something that so when you die, there's couples that will separate, they'll divorce because then now it won't fall onto whoever's a surviving member, right? But now I bet you any money, the Canadian government is probably considering, no. That's not wiped out. No. It's going to go on to their children.
Another MS I'm seeing with the fucking immigration is a lot of these. I'm not even gonna fucking. Like, I see it all over fucking Instagram or TikTok. These guys.
What's that?
These immigrants are leaving the country because their visas run out, but they're saying, oh, I talked to this guy and he taught me how to take $100,000 on the way out. So it's like all these immigrants are going to take $100,000 from the banks and this and that, and on the way out. What's going to happen to it, you know?
What's going to happen? It's already happening.
It's a shit show. It's a shit show.
Okay, let's do 12 questions.
Let's go.
A person you would trade places with for a day.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Why? I would. Come on, like Cristiano Ronaldo. Fuck. You
over Messi?
Yeah. Come on. Cristiano Ronaldo's 6 foot tall. Like Messi's got that. He's like 5 foot nothing.
There's lots of fucking successful short people.
I just rather be tall. I like being tall, man.
What's your guilty pleasure?
I fuck with country music. I like country music. It's my guilty pleasure.
Seriously?
Yeah, man. You don't strike me the type to listen to some country music. Trust me, man. I be in the country clubs like.
I would never think that, man. Wait, is he even camera? You got to come over here a little bit. The center point. What's your least favorite tool?
Fuck the hammer drill. Fuck that gun. Whatever the fuck it is.
Biggest risk you ever took?
Took a lot of risks.
So what's the biggest one?
Let's keep it PG. I'm fucking paragliding, big risk.
Yeah, everything went smooth?
Everything went smoothly.
Good.
It was in France. I loved it.
Good.
It was beautiful.
Best compliment you ever got?
Best compliment I've ever got. Probably is, you're a good worker. Thanks, bud.
What's your favorite beverage?
My favorite, are we talking alcoholic or?
Any beverage.
Any beverage. Water. I love water. Can't get enough of water.
From Walkerton? They had a water issue a few years back.
Oh, weird.
What never fails to make you laugh?
What never fails to make me laugh? Fuck. Instagram Reels.
Anything on the Reels? Anything in particular?
Yeah, fuck. I be on there sometimes. You see some funny shit. I be crying.
I see some creative shit. People get really creative with the...
Yeah.
I like that they can be extremely creative in such a short period of time.
I love comedy shows, actually. You know, at work, I be listening to Kill Tony. Kill Tony's funny. I love Kill Tony. You guys listen to Kill Tony.
Worst piece of advice you ever got?
Happy wife, happy life.
So fucking full of shit. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt one day?
Soccer player. I always wanted to be a soccer player.
Football player.
Yeah, football player.
America's the only one that fucking calls it soccer, and Canada.
We're born in North America, man.
I know, but still, it's the number one sport in the entire world.
Yeah.
Followed by Formula One, number 2. I don't even know where American football is. I have no idea, but cricket's got to be up there in 3 or 4.
Yeah,
cricket must be up
probably.
But I'm just saying that non-North American sports are at the top of the list, right?
Yeah. And soccer is an easy sport. All you need is a ball. So kids all over the world can play it.
It's not an easy sport.
No, like it's an easy sport to play. Like hockey,
to perfect
you
is a different
can't.
story. Yeah.
Like hockey, you need the stick, you need this, you need ice,
Never got into hockey. Never got into any sports.
Yeah, me neither.
I'll watch MotoGP anytime.
I didn't have the money.
What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
What's a good Syrian curse word?
Syrian? We say khul akhre, means like eat shit.
Say it again.
Khul akhre.
Khul
akhre. It means eat shit. That's a big one. Or when your parents are mad at you, they say bronet khmare. It's like son of a donkey. It's like, you're my dad, bro. What are you talking about?
What is your favorite vehicle? Any mode of transportation?
If if I were to
any mode of transportation, anything
like,
at all.
like some boss shit, like a Rolls Royce, like a nice Don. Look
what
like
color?
all blacked out with the nice stars on the roof, but the interior has to be like white. It'd be nice. I already envisioned my future car, everybody. You see that?
White gets dirty, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find it a little okay. Last question: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
There's no plumbers in here.
They all in hell? They're all in hell doing the pipes down there?
Fuck the plumbers.
Why is there such a hatred towards plumbers and electricians?
They always talking shit.
It's always been that way. It's never going to fucking change.
Plumbers,
doesn't matter what country you're in. It's always the same.
You go to the washroom, they're writing, all the electricians are pretty boys. I was like, what the fuck are you talking?
Yeah, there's been a lot of those memes going around lately, man, just back and forth. All right, Matthew. Thanks. I wonder how much fucking trouble. No, we ain't gonna get in trouble.
I'm probably gonna get in trouble.
From who? The union? You didn't say anything negative about the union.
I
didn't say anything negative about the union.
It's all love at the end of the day. Plus, I'm paying for all the older guys' pensions. So remember that.
I'm not a fan of the union. I'm sorry, man. I'm not a fan of the union.
It's okay, man.
Because it's been corrupted. That's why I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it's benefiting me right now.
If it's benefiting you, then great. Wonderful.
Amen. Amen. It's a pleasure, my friend.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You know
We're
what?
out of here.
You're doing good.